Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Giant Goofballs, New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by... You're on mute, that's right. This time I actually muted you because you were coughed and it was during the intro. So this one's on me. This one's on me for once. Anyway, as joined as always by... I didn't mute you this time. You muted yourself this time. Don't even try to give it to me.
My hands were in the air.
Wave him like you just don't
it's
care.
It's me. I'm Rob. I'm off of mute, and we're going to talk about the Superbowl.
The superb owl. The superb owl. Yes. Can't make it too close to any copyright infringing things. You have to call it the superb owl, the big game, the final game of the season, the Puppy Bowl post game special.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I've seen all the variations. We're going with the superb owl though, because I just like the little graphic and everything there. It's nice. A little patriotic owl in the corner there. Very nice, very nice. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and give you guys basically all the information here. So that way, even if you're not somebody who watches the Chiefs or the Niners on a regular basis, even if you're somebody who doesn't even necessarily watch a lot of football in general, if you watch this episode, you're going to know basically 90% of the players going to be on the field in this game.
And Taylor Swift.
And Taylor Swift, because she'll probably be on the field 50-50 shot at the end.
What's the over-under we're going to bet on that? How many times she gets shown?
I want to do a drinking game where I take a shot every time we see her on camera.
It's a good thing we're going to record the post game on Monday.
Are we? We haven't talked about that yet. We got to figure that out. So yeah. Yeah. All righty. So let's get right into it here as we talk about the Super Bowl. I mean, superb owl. I didn't say that.
Superb owl.
Superb owl. What was I saying? Oh, yes. And, of course, we got the Chiefs coming up here versus the 49ers. And, I think the 49ers were definitely somebody everybody expected pretty much to be in this game, if not, one of the finalists to be in this game here. But the Chiefs, I think, is a little more of a shocker here. So let's see how these teams stack up. But obviously, go for it.
I was about to say, yes, everyone expected San Fran pretty much at the beginning of the year, especially after what happened last year. I mean, there's definitely a lot of people that said Philadelphia's going to go back, blah, blah, blah. But the Chiefs, yeah.
There's like a vampire there. Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
Blood, 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 blood.
But when it comes to the Chiefs, I don't think anyone really counted them out to go and maybe not this far, but, be in a contention of it.
Yeah. No, and I think people expected them in the playoffs. People expected them to go, win a game or two in the playoffs. But I don't think anybody expected them to get all the way to the final game like this.
Yeah, I mean,
wasn't the same Chiefs this year?
No, because the defensive side of the football was the best side of the football, and
yes,
not the.
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. So let's start off though with let's go over the injury report here because that's always something to keep an eye on. It's kind of light this year, but let's go into it. Oh, yeah. So the big one really is on the Chiefs side. It's Joe Thuney, who missed the AFC Championship game there. Is not expected to play, but hasn't been ruled out. It's kind of like if you had to bet on it, you'd probably bet against it. In fact, that's what Andy Reid said. He said, I would probably bet towards Allegretti playing. For Joe, it's a strength thing. Right now, it's not strong enough. Now, Allegretti did start and played very well against the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. He's been with the Chiefs now for 5 straight years. So he's been with them a little bit now since he's joined the NFL. A very interesting thing to keep an eye on is he's not a name I hear floating around very often as a free agent. But guess what, guys? He's a free agent. He plays center and guard. He's, like I said, he's been in a couple games this year. Very good in the AFC title game. If he does very good in this final game as well, someone might like him as a starter. Maybe Joe Shane.
Maybe.
Who knows? So a little set extra layer there to watch in this game here. Backup running back Jerick McKinnon is limited as well. Has a groin injury. He is expected to play, but if he doesn't, let's be very frank, he's a third string running back. Not the big deal. Not trying to be a jerk about it. Just saying that's not the injury. Like, oh no, not the third string running back. I hope he can play. Backup defensive end Charles Omenihu was put on the IR after the AFC Championship game with a knee injury. So, yeah, he's not going to be in the game, obviously. Last week, Chris Jones with a quad injury, Isaiah Pacheco with a knee injury, and Sky Moore with a knee injury were all listed on the injury report, but they are no longer on the report. They're all practicing in full. So they should be all good to go. On the Niners side, George Kittle is dealing with a toe injury. Eric Armstead is battling a knee and foot issue. Both are limited in practice, but both are expected to start and play in the game there. So they should be at full strength. So kind of what you want. You want the teams playing full strength. You want the best possible game. So it looks like the only guy we might be missing is Dooney, who's a very good guard. This is like a Pro Bowl, potential all-pro caliber kind of player they're missing, unfortunately. But again, one of the starters being out for between both teams, that's a pretty healthy Super Bowl overall. I mean, Superb Owl.
Superb Owl.
I keep on slipping. I keep on slipping and saying the wrong thing here. It's an honest mistake. It's definitely not. We're not talking about that other thing. We're talking about the Superb Owl. We're talking about the Superb Owl, clearly. So let's get into the Chiefs offense here. Now, the Chiefs offense coming into the season, and pretty much every season since Patrick Mahomes has been a quarterback, the big talk is the offense always, because people like watching offense. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in all of football. I know some people kind of disputed that a little bit this year because he's a little bit down. That's because his weapons around him just haven't been as good. On the season, Patrick Mahomes, 67.2 completion percentage, 4,183 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, sacked just 27 times, 92.6 QB rating, 389 rushing yards with a 5.2 yard per carry average rating, and that's 16 games in the season. Of course, was a Pro Bowl selection. Obviously, all the guys we're going to talk about today that are Pro Bowlers did not actually play in the Pro Bowl because they had to go to this thing. Horrible thing, huh? Who would you think you had to choose Pro Bowl and the Superb Owl?
Yeah. Risk injury to go to the Superb Owl.
Yeah, exactly. Running back wise, the big star is Isaiah Pacheco, Rutgers' own, Rutgers pride there. 13 games this season, 935 yards, a 4.6 yards per carry average, 7 TDs, 44 receptions, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I'll tell you this, we talked about Saquon Barkley and where he stands as far as running backs. You could make the case Pacheco had a better year. Just trying to put in perspective, because I don't think he's talked about it enough how good he's been for this team. 935 yards, and he missed 3 games.
He flew under the radar because everyone, when it comes to that offense, talks about Patrick Mahomes and their weapons. And it took them a little bit to realize that they could run the ball. Pacheco could run.
He definitely can. I mean, again, if I'm just doing simple math here, which I love to do the math, he would have had 1,135 yards in the season if he played the whole year. Now, granted, he missed 3 games. Saquon also missed 3 games. But if you look at their numbers, they are pretty close, actually. So, like I said, doing pretty good there. Charles Edwards-Helaire is his backup, 15 games, just 3 starts, obviously 3 that Pacheco missed, 223 yards, 3.2 yards per carry average, 1 touchdown, 17 receptions, 188 yards, and 1 touchdown. Obviously, he's been pretty much a bust since he's gotten to this league. Let's be very frank on this.
Yeah.
This is a guy who was a late first-round pick that they thought was going to be their stud running back for years to come. And Pacheco, a 7th-rounder, has been that stud running back instead. But you'll see him a couple times in the game, so know who he is. Went to Clemson, was the running back for Trevor Lawrence in his college days there, but just never really has amounted to anything whatsoever in the in the NFL there. On to receivers. And receivers is probably the worst position overall for the Chiefs. I mean, that's been an issue ever since they lost Tyreek Hill, obviously. But they are led by Rasheed Rice, who is just been a pleasant surprise for them. Second round pick last year out of SMU. On the season, 16 games, 79 receptions, 938 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Follow that up by Justin Watson, 16 games, 27 receptions, 460 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now think about what I said here. You have Patrick Mahomes on your team, starting quarterback, best quarterback in the league. I'm sorry again, I'm going to say it. I'm going to keep on saying it. He is the best quarterback in the league. I don't care what he says.
Get to that. Next comes
Justin
Tom Brady.
Watson with 460 yards is your second receiver on the team. That just tells you how bad this group is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna wait to talk about how bad this group is until we're done talking about this group.
We can go over that. Yeah, I just want to kind of put that out there because when we talk about how bad it is, this is what I'm saying when I mean they're bad. After him, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, 16 games, 21 receptions, 315 yards, 1 touchdown. Sky Moore, 14 games, 21 receptions, 244, and 1 touchdown. Kadarius, you remember him, Tony, 13 games, 27 yards, 13 games, 27 receptions. It feels like 27 yards. 169 yards he had, though, and 1 touchdown. McCole Hardman, 6 games with the Chiefs. He obviously started the season with the Jets there. 21 receptions, 118 yards.
Yeah, so they coming into this year, they thought Sky Moore was going to be their dude. It's going to be the replacement. And to have Rasheed Rice as their dude this year, he had a very slow start. Like, if they actually utilized him from the get-go, you're looking at a guy that probably would have had 1,200 yards in this season.
Oh yeah, no, he's been a very good surprise for them. I think a very pleasant surprise, as you mentioned. People expected a lot of the Sky Moore, and keep in mind, Sky Moore was drafted in 2022, and he was drafted to be Tyreek Hill's replacement, basically.
Yes,
not that they expected the same production, but he was basically going to take that role on, and he just hasn't been able to do it. And I liked him a lot coming out of college. That's one of the ones I definitely got wrong. I'll admit that freely. But yeah, he's been kind of the bust. McCole Hardman obviously is a former Chief. He was a Chief last year, signed the contract with the Jets. They released him, or they traded him back to the Chiefs, I should say. So yeah, Valdez-Scantling obviously has been with them now a couple of years. I mean, if you expect to have a really good group of receivers when you have a really good quarterback like this, no,
yeah,
not the case.
Besides Rice, the ball has been spread out pretty evenly, if you will.
Yep.
Between the rest of this group and the running backs.
You know what I feel like too, though? I feel like part of this is because they kind of go, okay, we have a couple of really good linemen. We have the best quarterback in the NFL. Let's just draft some guys and see what happens. Because if you look, Pacheco, 7th round pick, Sky Moore, 2nd round pick, Rasheed Rice, 2nd round pick. It's like that's what they do. Is they're putting, Charles Edwards-Helaire, we talked about, 1st round pick. They're putting the picks on the offensive side of the ball, and they're signing guys on the defense. But to me, it's just like you got to get some better weapons. There's been miscues like crazy. Kadarius Toney's mistakes have cost them at least 2 games. We'll never forget the one when he lined up off sides and messed up
5 yards off sides.
I mean, like ridiculous. Like he was lined up at left defensive end. It was like, what the hell? Like, but yeah, this, like I said, you're going to see a lot of these guys because they do pass the ball around a good amount. But yeah, you're going to see Mahomes show some frustration in this game, I think, with these corners, with these receivers. We'll get into the Niners defense later on, but they got some good corners. Their corners are definitely better than this wide receiver group. Let's get to the tight end group because that's obviously we got the big one here, and of course that's Travis Swift. I mean Kelce, 15 games on the season, 93 receptions, 984 yards, 5 TDs. He was also a Pro Bowler. Their backup Noah Gray comes in the game pretty often as well. They like doing double tight end sets pretty often. So he's got 17 games, 28 receptions, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. So if you think about that, the top receivers that they have
Kelce's
on this
number
team.
1. No surprise there.
No, what I'm saying is you got Kelce number 1, Rasheed Rice number 2. You got Justin Watson there, okay? Then you go back to Noah Gray. Then you're going to Scandling. Now you're going to Isaiah Pacheco. So the top 6 receivers, 3 of those aren't wide receivers.
Yeah.
So that's something to watch out for because you're going to see a lot of the tight ends and running back plays. They're not the team that throws at the outside always. There's a lot of middle of the field. There's a lot of wheel routes, a lot of screens, or a lot of things like that. So you've got to kind of keep an eye across the field there, not just the ends. There's Connor seeing all crazy things in the chat already. I see. What's up, Connor?
Howdy ho.
On the offensive line side, Donovan Smith, left tackle. I'm going to give you guys their PFF ratings too on these because let's be very frank, it's hard to get stats that'll show what they'll do. I'm not a huge fan of PFF, but I do think it's probably the best way to show certain groups, offensive line, corner, safety, even linebacker to a certain degree. You really need that kind of thing. Donovan Smith, 55.4 PFF. Joe Tooney, 74.6. If he's unable to play, I would say we got Nick Allegretti, who's got a 68.7. Again, Joe Tooney was a Pro Bowler, though, so you kind of want him to play if you're the Chiefs. Creed Humphrey, 78.2 PFF at center and a Pro Bowler. Trey Smith was 72.2 PFF at right guard. Jawan Taylor, 52.0 PFF at right tackle. So what's odd is that they are extremely good at the interior offensive line. Not so much at the tackle position. And they spent money there, guys. This is not a team that, if you want to talk about the one position they spent money on offense besides Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, it's tackle. Donovan Smith's on a decent tackle deal there. Jawan Taylor just got signed to a massive deal out of Jacksonville. And, you keep on seeing them doing that, but these tackles are just not able to protect Mahomes. He's often running for his life. On the year, these Chiefs are averaging 22.1 points per game, which is 15th. Think about that. 15th. Best quarterback in the league. And they have an average offense, basically.
Yeah.
But what's crazy about that is you go to the yards, and 353.1 yards per game, 8th best in the league. So they're just not getting it done when it comes to scoring.
Yeah, their third down conversions have been a little sloppy this year. The red zone trips have had Butler out there more often than Mahomes.
Third down, they're actually very good on. That's actually one of their strengths. But the red zone has been the issue.
Yeah.
The red zone's been their issue. So if you look at the strengths on the team, quarterback, running back, tight end, interior offensive line, third down percentage at 43.02 for the season. That's 6th best in the league. As far as QB getting sacked, that's also a good strength there of keeping Mahomes upright. Keep in mind, he's doing that because he's mobile and he's able to run around. So 3.91% though of pass attempts he's getting sacked on, which is 2nd best in the league. You want to talk weaknesses? We said already, tackle, wide receiver. Interceptions though too. Mahomes has definitely been a little more interception prone this year than he has in years past. Throwing interception on 2.31% of pass attempts, 19th best in the league, which is obviously, when I say best, it's kind of facetious. That's not very good. Red zone percentage, 52.7, 19th in the league as well. So this is a team that's going to put up some yards. Whether or not they win this game may very well come down to whether they're accepting field goals or going for the touchdowns.
Correct.
So, not saying going Dan Campbell style, I'm saying.
Just go for it every time. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Yeah. Let's go over and give you guys now the 49ers offense then. And then after that, we're gonna go ahead and pay the bills real quick and go ahead and give you guys a chance to go for the comments there. So let us know in the comments section who you think is going to win and who you think might be the MVP as well. I'm kind of curious what people think on that one there. So on to the Niners offense. You just love to talk during the videos, don't you? It's like goal of it. I'm surprised that one didn't mute you too. I start muting you before each one. So why don't you go through this one? I did most of the Chiefs one. You do this one. You go for it.
All right. So let's go through the Niners offense. Let's start off with the QB, Brock Purdy. Let's actually talk about. Did you see his Super Bowl picture, by the way?
When he looked like a kid from like a high school football team.
He looked like a kid that was posing, like a kid model posing for a Halloween costume.
Oh my God, a kid model.
It was like, hey, it's overfit. Anyway, played 16 games, 69.4% pass completions. He had 4,280 yards on the year, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, sacked 28 times, and his QB rating was 113. His what was his highest here? Didn't he have 1 or 2 perfect games? Did you put that into the notes? I don't think he did.
I did not. No.
He definitely had the first perfect rating since Joe Montana.
Oh, you're talking Joe Montana, the actor?
Yes.
I didn't know he played football.
But yeah, had 144 rushing yards, 3.7 yards per. Is it really 3.7 yards per completion? You put there
3.7 yards per rush. Yeah, yards per carry.
Yeah, there we go.
Yards per carry.
2 touchdowns and was nominated for the Pro Bowl and
was nominated for the Pro Bowl.
Nominated. He took the Oscar. They really loved him. CMC played 16 games. Who had obviously no one rusher of the season, had 1,459 yards rushing. Per carry had
there he is, Joe Montana in the
Joe Montana. So CMC 16 games, 1,449 yards, 5.4 yards per carry, 14 touchdowns, 67 receptions, 567 yards, 7 touchdowns. Also, a guy that should have went to the Pro Bowl, but didn't go.
Yes.
And was a first team All-Pro. Without a doubt.
Listen, they want to go to the superb owl, not the prob owl. Add an E's even worse.
Yeah. Let's go on to Elijah Mitchell then, huh? Yeah. 11 games, 281 yards, 3.8 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
As the backup to CMC, which
not
the best, but better than a lot of other.
Yeah, not very impressive, but not horrible. I mean, he's had a good track record in his career, though.
Yeah, I mean, he might find himself a starting job at some bad teams elsewhere, but you're also backing up. You're also backing up the best in the league. It's pretty easy to look good.
I just realized something.
Ooh, what's that?
I gave you potentially the most complicated last name in this entire game.
Oh yeah, listen, we're not going to talk about that last name. We're just going to.
Oh no, we're going for it. Go for it. Next up, the fullback position.
Kyle Juszczyk. Juszczyk, yeah.
He's the one whose wife makes all the the clothing out of the uniforms and stuff like that. The Taylor Swift wore. She's all over TikTok. She's
Yeah.
also been looking at Taylor Swift.
Excuse me.
He's like, let me just text his wife real quick.
Yeah, real fast. Anyway,
Right, you can look, but you can't touch. You can think, but you can't act.
I just left my screen black. Anyway, so he played 70 games, 5 catches, 6 yards. Oh my god.
What?
Anyway, 14 receptions, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns, Pro Bowl, first team All Pro.
When do you ever think we talk about a player having 5 carries in the backfield for 6 yards and being a first team All Pro in a Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I was reading that, just the whole thing.
He's a really good blocker. That's what it boils down to. He's a really, really good blocker. And if it wasn't for him, I mean, let me put it this way: McCaffrey wasn't lighting it up in Carolina, was he? Not the last year or two.
He was also hurt.
I'm just saying. He's got a
He was
really good
also
blocker in front of him now. I'm just trying to give the man some credit, okay?
No, he definitely deserves the credit. I'm
just saying, I want to give the man some credit. So,
and CMC, like, without this guy, would probably have 10% less yards. And
yeah,
probably.
Yeah, that sounds about right. At least, if not more.
Yeah.
I'll go to 20% less.
We got you at 15.
We're 25, 25, 30, 30,
15,
35, 35, 40, 40, 40, 40, 50,
We're
50,
cutting off 15, 15, 16%. That's it.
Sold to the man in the yellow hat. If anybody else gets that reference, kudos to you.
Deebo Samuel, who is the dude.
You would have Brandon Aiyuk. Did you just skip Brandon Aiyuk?
I did skip Brandon Aiyuk.
Oh,
I actually kind of did that purposely.
You're avoiding the difficult name again. I'm on to you.
No, I actually did that purposely because Deebo Samuel is the dude over there. He played 15 games, 60 receptions, 892 yards, 7 touchdowns, 225 rushing yards, 6.1 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. When they went on that 3-game losing streak, who was that there? Deebo.
Trent Williams.
As well. You're right.
That's a big difference in your offensive line, missing him.
Well, same with Samuel, because he's also the guy that you have to worry about the.
Oh, I'm not saying he's not good.
He's the guy that you have
Trent
to watch when he lines up in the backfield, when he lines up against the line, to when he lines up on the outfield. Like, he's a guy that can play
on the outfield.
Well, I should have said the outfield. I apologize. Like, and
there's angels in the outfield.
Ooh, there's angels in the outfield. Anyway, so he's the guy that can play.
That's not an angel. That's the guy with the time travel machine. Doc Brown.
21.1 gigawatts.
The flex capacitor.
But he's the guy that has a flux capacitor. He can play in each position at any time.
He can. And including left tackle.
He might be able to. I would put it past him. But Brandon Aiyuk has also had a stellar year. And
great year.
I think a lot of that comes off of Samuel's play, because you have to respect Samuel. Like, granted, Aiyuk would probably be a guy that could be a number 1 somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he'd be a solid dude.
I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with you right there. He's a number 1 in San Francisco right now, as far as I'm concerned. If you have one guy you're trying to shut down in that offense right now, besides CMC, to me, it's more Brandon Aiyuk, because he's the guy to take the top off the defense. I'm much worried about him than I am Samuel getting his 5-yard catches.
All right, so maybe I was making a Batman and Robin joke. Maybe it's a Batman and Batman. Because Aiyuk did not play as well in those 3 games when Samuel was not there.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely feed off each other and help each other.
And as a fantasy football player that had Aiyuk all year, I know Aiyuk's trends.
How about if we did like a Superman Batman thing? Like, they realize both their mom's name is Martha.
That's what they do pregame. Martha.
dumbest freaking movie ever. That is Batman versus Superman. Actually, I take it back. The Justice League was the dumbest one ever. Hashtag
Before
Marvel
the
for
center
life.
cut. Yeah, before the center cut.
As I wear a Marvel shirt, I'm wearing a Marvel shirt.
But
Yeah.
Aiyuk played 16 games, 75 yards, 75 receptions, 1,342 yards, 7 touchdowns. And all year he's done like this. Like one game he may get 60 yards, and then he'll get like 140 yards. Then he'll get you like 70 yards, and then he'll get you like 180 yards. He has been high caliber, and I don't think he had the best game last week. So
but he's like 18 yard catch is that average based on that. That's pretty damn high.
Yeah, well,
that's like as high as Afro Man.
Cause I got high. Cause I got high. Cause I got high.
Oh, we're gonna get ready to shut up on YouTube now.
I'm just saying the facts. And then you got Jan Jennings.
Juwan. I love that I didn't even intentionally give you the one with all the difficult names.
It's not even that difficult. I'm just an idiot.
You got the next one.
There we go. 13 games, 19 receptions, 265 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
And then the hardest name of the group, Ray McLeod.
In relation to Duncan.
I said it.
Here we are.
12 receptions, 135 yards. And then just like the opposing team, another dude on this offense is their tight end, George Kittle. 16 games, 65 receptions, 1,020 yards, 6 touchdowns, Pro Bowl, and a first-team All-Pro.
Yeah. Remember, when we played the 49ers, they were talking about how Kittle hadn't done much in the passing game the first couple of games. All of a sudden, he lit us up. 2 touchdowns, good day. And then just the rest of the season, he was just like fire. It was crazy.
Yeah,
definitely.
I was about to say, he had a slow start to the year, but once he hit those burners, he looked back a little bit to go give the finger to all the haters.
You know what? If there's one guy that I wish was a Giant in this game, and I'm not talking about like talent-wise, because Mahomes would be the guy, obviously, if we're talking talent-wise. Personality-wise, it'd be George Kittle. That guy's just fun. You can tell this man loves playing football. He just has so much joy in him with doing it.
Yes, he's like a little kid. He's like not. He's
making a goofy face at the camera and all.
Little kid on Christmas. He's not quite like that small, like 4-year-old. He's like that 7-year-old. Still excited, still believes, doesn't know, but having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great story. He's also the 4 receptions of all others TDs of all. What was that? 4 receptions.
So all the other TDs on the Niners have 4 receptions in total. So they really don't have like a backup guy like they do in Kansas City. That's definitely part of it. So, it's interesting if you look at the 2 offenses. You look at good running game, star tight end. Obviously a good quarterback. But what's interesting with the weapons wise is the Niners have better top end weapons, but they only throw to those top end weapons. Think about what we just said there. You got 3,200 yards basically between George Kittle, Deebo Samuels, and Brandon Aiyuk. 3,200 yards. And they got 3,700 yards if you want to throw in Christian McCaffrey. You got 4 guys.
500 yards, 580 for everyone else.
That's what I'm saying. That's nothing. That just shows you how top heavy it is. Now, you can make the claim that's easier to cover, but they're harder to cover guys. So it's interesting how they get it done in different ways. Mahomes kind of has to spread the ball out a little more because he doesn't have that top end talent, the receiver position like Brock Purdy has. But Yeah, like I said, I thought it was interesting thing to note there. If you look at the two teams, there's a big difference. You got top heavy on the Niners. You got spread out by design on the Chiefs because they just don't have really good receivers.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I would even tell you right now that Rice, as good as he's been this year, and again, I'm not trying to take anything away from him on his rookie season there, he's not a 900-yard receiver. He's a 900 receiver on this team because they don't have anybody else to throw to.
And you got the best quarterback in football.
Exactly. He's probably more like a 600 or 700-yard receiver, which is still great as a rookie. Don't get me wrong. It's not, again, not trying to take anything away from him. Just saying.
Especially from how he was utilized from the first half to the second half.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's get into their line.
All right.
In the trenches. We're in the trenches now.
In the trenches. Talk about Trent Williams. His PFF rating was 89.7. Also, Pro Bowl first team All-Pro. You also had left guard Aaron Banks. 59 point. Carlton.
Jump on it. Jump on it. Boom. Boom, 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 boom.
And 54.9 PFF at left guard. Your center with Jake Brandel was 63.9 on PFF. Your right guard Spencer Burford.
Burford.
Buford.
Forget the R.
R.
They got Pirates.
R was 50.4 in PFF. And your right tackle, Colton McCravitz.
McKivitz.
McCravitz.
Lenny Kravitz's cousin here.
It might be. Was 65.1 on PFF. The Niners averaged 28.9 points per game, second, and 396.9 yards per game, which is best in the NFL.
Yeah. So this is not the Chiefs. This team has no problem putting it into the end zone at that point. Second most points per game in the entire NFL.
Yeah,
that's impressive. Anytime you're second best in points and best in yards, you have a good offense.
Yeah, and they started hot, lost those 3 games, and everyone's like, what happened there? And then they just didn't look back.
No, and you know what? Again, there was injuries. You mentioned, the one to Deebo Samuel. It was also the Trent Williams injury, the same exact time period at that point. So, they had a lot of injuries to go through, and Brock Purdy was definitely throwing more interceptions during that time as well. So, obviously, correlation when you take away his second weapon. Like I said, he only throws to 4 guys. You take away one of those guys, take away a quarter of his offense there at that point. So, yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
But let's talk about their strengths real fast, because they were 4.8 yards per rush, which is 4th best. Booyah, firepower in the NFL.
Which way's the beach?
Yeah.
It's either way. I'm on a peninsula.
I'm a brick, so I guess
I'm on the peninsula. Brick Kentucky.
Strengths also. They were the best in the NFL when it came for yards per pass at 8.7. Third down conversions. They were 48.79%, which was 3rd best in the NFL. Red zone TDs, 68.49, best in the NFL. You were talking about a good offense before. Those numbers right there tell you they're one of the best offenses in this league, and everyone wanted to be, oh, look at Brock Purdy, he's so good. In the first 6 games, they lost 3 games, and everyone stopped talking about how good that offense was and talked about the defense. So they were sneaky good.
Their offense is better. Yeah, their offense is better than the defense. It's weird to say that in San Francisco because they're known for the defense. Their offense is better.
Which is funny because KC has been the opposite.
Exactly. Everybody wants to talk about the offense on them, but the defense is better. Yeah, it's interesting how these 2 pair across each other like that. So
yeah, We want to talk about. Let's talk about the weaknesses, because this might play into the defense of KC, because interceptions are thrown on 2.32% of passes attempts, which is 21st in the NFL. 50% of fourth downs conversions, which is almost smack dab in the middle of mediocrity, at 15th in the NFL.
Yeah. It was really hard, I got to say, trying to do research this to try to find weaknesses in the 49ers offense. It was really, really difficult, guys. This is an elite offense overall. The only thing I would say is I'd be curious, and no one's done it, and it's hard to do with CMC there, obviously. But the Niners overall, 51.82% of their plays are pass plays. That's 30th in the league. They depend on the run so much, it's not even funny. As good as Brock Purdy is, and as much as I want to give him props, they depend on that run.
They do.
And if somebody ever stops that run and forces him to pass, I don't know what would happen.
It is hard to say, because a lot of times, and especially through the regular season of football, when the Niners were up at half, they won the football game.
Yep.
What does that tell you with a conservative coach?
Run.
Run away.
Run away.
They're going to sit there and run the ball. So obviously, the first half, like, you might be throwing 2/3, 3/4 of the football and flip it around in the second half because you got the lead.
Yeah.
But I would also like to take that back, saying that when they were down by, I think, 10 or more going into the fourth quarter, they lost their games in regular season. What have they done all postseason? Come down from being behind by 14 plus.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what's interesting is if you look at both these teams' defenses, we'll get into the defense in a minute. Look at the percentages; they're used to being passed on. In other words, these are playing behind. They basically abandon the run and keep on having to pass. So,
yeah.
Let's pay those bills real quick though, and then we're gonna break out into the defenses here now, and obviously go over the comments.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All right, let's go through the comments here. Timothy Frith, my superb owl, I think he meant to say there. Prediction: Chiefs over Niners. Deb says, I'm taking the Chiefs. Connor says, everyone betting Chiefs. 49ers need win, or they're going to lose a lot of money paying everybody. They're not predicting a lot of pass yards to make me think it might. That's why I don't bet team or points. Well, we're going to bet in a little bit here. We're going to give you guys our picks.
Oh, yeah.
Connor says, I just blast Kelce out of the game, then Mahomes screwed. Watch, Honey will get 60 to 100 yards. Watson, Gray, etc. Connor says, every time you say, let's get in tight end, I get Honey. LOL. Tony, not Honey. I was wondering what he was. I'm like, Honey. Like, who's Honey? So, yeah, Tony will get 60 to 100 yards, he's saying. Tony will be lucky to see the field, to be very frank with you. Connor says, I want to see a shootout of passing yards and TDs. Don't want a boring game. Take out Kelce, game over. Listen, as long as you have Mahomes there, either team can have a chance no matter who else gets hurt.
Yes.
Connor says, as long as defense can slow Pacheco rushing. We need that guy that puts hits out on offense. Was that Saints? That was the Saints. Yes, that was the Saints. And yeah, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. He says, please tell me Joe M didn't die. No, Joseph Montana and Joe Montana both are still alive and well. Connor says, love this superb owl with a little owl picture. He was hurt, but he's still better than Saquon. That's CMC was talking about there. Says they need at least 225 to 250 each passing, or it's going to be dull unless we have rushing battle. You think there'll be at least 2 passing TDs in each game. Deb says Spags defense will win it for KC. Mahomes MVP. Connor, are you guys doing show Sunday or waiting till Monday? We have to discuss that. We do have to discuss that still. We haven't decided that one yet. We haven't really had the discussion. I kind of like to do it Sunday, but I kind of am going somewhere to drink, so therefore it's going to be a little difficult to get home early enough to do that recording. So we're going to have to probably potentially play that one by ear.
Yeah, it's going to be a...
We'll see. Well, like I said, he and I discussed that a little bit here. Connor says, I think it's possible, Deb, but I want Mr. Relevant to win the big one. Be cool. Well, it would be kind of cool. First pick last pick in the draft to taking your team to the Super Bowl in your second year and winning it, that'd be pretty impressive. He said, I do like the Brock Purdy story, so if they win, that's okay too. Yeah, I think that's kind of the fun of this. I don't hate either team. Like usually there's a specific guy I want to win. And usually that's what I'm like, okay, I just don't want, like last year was obvious. I wanted the Chiefs to win. I hate the freaking Eagles, obviously,
obviously.
Even with the years of like the Patriots, like I always would root against the Patriots because I don't like the Patriots. And it wasn't because they kept winning. And I think it's a lot of what people have trouble with sometimes. It's because of the fact that I don't like Tom Brady. I don't like him as a person. I don't like, some of the stuff they did like that, the cheating and all that kind of stuff. But in this case here, you got the Niners who haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. And you got the Chiefs who are the middle of potentially one of the best dynasties in NFL history. Think about it there. If they win one more Super Bowl here coming up, you could easily make the case this is one of the top 5 to 10 best dynasties in NFL history, because that'd be their 3rd Super Bowl. They'd have the 4th third Super Bowl title, I should say, 4 Super Bowls in that time frame. So that's pretty damn impressive there. Connor says they deserve it more. Plus, I want to see Taylor Swift do a song. My boyfriend sucks, so I broke up with him. She's not going to do that song. Not just that, not because it's a purr owl. Connor says just don't want to see Tony get awarded again. Yeah. Again, I think if Tony's in the game, even if he's in the game, he's going to actually have a very small role. I mean, the big thing he had, obviously, besides the Super Bowl superb owl catch and for a touchdown there, was he had the big punt return as well. Well, our old friend Richie James is actually the one returning punts for them now. So who knows? Maybe he'll get a fumble. That's what he tends to do with it. Connor says Roberto's making up names now. LOL. He just likes messing up the names. I think he does it to get under me. He knows I hate the names being wrong. Connor says heard Zimmerman going to Cal Pukes, not Rex. We should get him. We're gonna go over that stuff in a little bit there, but yeah, it might come up in a bit. Roberto's like, thanks, Connor. He did off. Connor said I didn't like Yam. I think it means Tom. Till I saw him with his daughter, then I started liking him. Then I saw his wife. I said she's going to break up with him. I knew it, and it happened. Like I said, I have issues with him and some of the stuff he's done business-wise. I have issues with him and the cheating within the organization that I'm sure he knew about. Like I said, there's a few issues. So, but luckily we'll never see Tom Brady in the Super Bowl again. Until we see him maybe, as announcer for one, because that's going to be next up for him is the announcer job. All right. Let's get into the 49ers defense here. We're going to switch it up. So we went Chiefs first for offense. We'll go Niners first for defense here. Oh, yes. I love that little boop, 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 boop. It's like we're in a club or something here. Brings me back to my young days.
Oh, yeah. Old again.
I've been around there, don't you know? So the 49ers defense, first off, they run a 4-3 base defense there, but mostly run things out of nickel. So we're going to discuss 3 linebackers. We're going to discuss the 3rd corner because, let's be honest, that's the way the NFL world works now. Chase Young, obviously, they got him mid-season there at the trade deadline. 16 games on the season in total between the Commanders and the Niners. 25 tackles, 7.5 sacks, 7 total tackles for loss, 15 QB hits. Eric Armstead, 12 games, 27 tackles, 5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 13 QB hits. Javon Hargrave, 16 games, 25 tackles, 7 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 14 QB hits, and a Pro Bowl nod this year. Nick Bosa, obviously, he's the big name of the defensive line there. 53 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 16 tackles for loss, 35 QB hits. Both those numbers should impress you. If they don't, you might want to look at the NFL and what people do. Usually, that's much higher. Also got, of course, the Pro Bowl nod. On their linebacker core, Jere Greenlaw, 45 tackles with a 69.3 PFF rating. Fred Warner, 132 tackles, 90.1 PFF rating with a Pro Bowl nod. Oren Burks, when they don't go in nickel and do an actual true 4-3, he's their guy. Again, he's almost like a bench player because that's how often they are in nickel. He doesn't even usually start the game because they start in nickel. 46 tackles, 71.3 PFF rating there. At the corner spots, Shavarius Ward, 82.6 PFF rating and a Pro Bowl nod. Ambry Thomas, 71.6 PFF. At the slot corner position, Diamador Lenore, 72.5 PFF rating there. The safeties, Deshaun Gibson Sr., who's, by the way, a pending free agent there. He get a little buzz this offseason, probably. 73.6 PFF. Jair Brown, 77.9 PFF. So, you look at this team and think about that. All those grades I gave out and stuff like that, the numbers I gave out, Dre Greenlaw is perhaps their worst player on defense, guys. And that's a name that if you watch football, you know it. Not just because he likes to get in fights with the Eagles head of security, but because he's a good player. I remember that. Everyone remembers that about him now. But yeah, like I said, really good player. And, there's not a single weakness really on this defense. But you can make the case that but besides the defensive line, there's no amazing players besides Fred Ward and Shavarius Ward. That's their two guys. The rest of the guys are good and above average, but they're not stellar for the most part there. 49ers allowed 18.4 points per game, which is third best in the league. Allowed 312.6 yards per game, which is ninth best. So they're really getting the most out of that bend but don't break kind of system there. As far as their strengths, if you look at their stats, a lot of their stats, to be honest, are average, middle of the road. That's the kind of crazy thing. One thing they're very good, though, is limiting passes down the field. Now, it's like that theory, if you give someone enough rope, they'll hang themselves. This is kind of like the same exact thing. They allow people to complete short passes in the hopes of getting them off the field on short down situations or waiting till they mess up and get an interception or something. So 5.9 yards per pass is what they're giving up, which is fifth best in the league. They also have 3.45% interception percentage. So a little 3.5% basically almost of the passes thrown against them are intercepted. That's second best in the league. As far as weaknesses go, they allow 4.3 yards per carry, as 21st in the league. 42.08 third down percentage, 27th in the league. They allowed 65.52 completion percentage, 20th in the league. And look at the names I mentioned there on defensive line there. Joe Bosa, Chase Young, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave. All these guys are Pro Bowl caliber players. Every single one of them. Yet they sacked the quarterback at 6.7%, which is 20th in the league. That was a little shocking to me when I was going to look at the numbers there. I did not expect that to be a weakness in one of the low points of the season. Again, granted, they got Chase Young at the deadline. He wasn't with them all year long. But still, that's a low number for that kind of talent there.
Yeah, and how much is that on the line? And how much is that on the QB play?
I mean, you look at the division they're in, and you go, okay, Matt Stafford, veteran, but not the fastest guy. He's not going to run away from a rusher, but he's a veteran. He knows when to step up. He knows when to throw the ball away. You can say the same exact thing, too, about Geno Smith. And obviously, the Cardinals situation was kind of a cluster. So, 2 out of the 3 quarterbacks they faced, though, were long-term veterans who know how to get away from get away from the issues there. So, unfortunately, again, it's sack per. Well, I'm saying the 2 out of the 2 out of the
4.
3. No, 3.
No, because they played, but they play Kyle Murray, and then they also play
Well, I'm saying
What's his
team
face?
wise. I'm
Yeah.
saying team wise.
I was talking about quarterback play.
Oh, okay. But again, keep my sack percentages until you hurries and that QB hit percentage and that kind of stuff there as well. I mean, 32 was 32. I said on QB hits by Bosa, on 35. I mean, that means he's smacking the quarterback twice a game right there. Hargrave's doing it once a game. Armstead's doing it once a game. Chase Young's doing it once a game. So that's 5 QB hits right there a game. Just out of your defensive line.
Yeah.
It's not too shabby. All right. Let's get into the Chiefs defense here. You're going to be up here.
Oh, I am up.
You just love talking to the videos.
That's me.
He's that guy that the movie's about to end. He's like, so who wants to get a pizza or something?
No, you're watching a horror movie. Like, get out of there! Go!
Go into that shed with all the sharp weapons, but don't grab one of the weapons.
Upstairs? There's no escape. Anyway, Chiefs defense, not a horror movie because they're top 5. The Chiefs ran mostly a 4-3. George,
I gave you the bad one right off the bat, didn't I?
Karnophagus.
Carlophagus. Snuffleupagus.
47 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 17 QB hits. Derek Nandi, 29 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit. Oh, this one's hard. Chris J1s.
Jonas. It's Jonas.
J1s.
Me, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones.
30 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, 29 QB hits. Was also a Pro Bowl and first team All-Pro qualification guy.
Oh, yes.
Mike Deanna.
You're just messing with us all now. Come on.
50 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 13 QB hits. Was fantastic. You also had Willie Gay. Sounds like a porn name.
It is not. It's a linebacker name.
Yeah. Well, he could be doing that too. 58 tackles, 53.3 graded on the PFF. Yeah, Nick Bolton, 60 tackles.
Michael's 60, kid.
Ooh, yes. 60 tackles, 69.2 PFF. Is this Drew Dayquil? Oh, Tranquil.
Tranquil. You remember him? We talked about him. He's one of the guys I wanted us to sign this offseason. So
no,
yeah, they got him.
He got him, and it worked out. 79 tackles with a 69.3 PFF rating.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he's a guy who can rush. He can rush. He can cover. He can stop the run. He's a jack of all trades. That's not excellent at any of them, but above average at all of them.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing to have.
No,
a Swiss Army knife.
Yes.
Jarvis Sneed, 71.
Mr. Sneed. It's like Captain Hook calling for Mr. Smeed. Mr. Sneed.
Trent McDuffie was 82 point. Mr. Hammer there.
I happen to have a hammer in front of me. I don't know why.
That's what I say. It's a alarm.
Can't touch this.
Florida at its finest. McDuffie was 82.9 PFF. Slot first team All-Pro.
Yeah, so he plays on the outside when there's only 2 because he is their best corner they had. But You go to a 3-corner set, and they're going to throw in him on the slot, and he's going to shut down anybody. I honestly think they're going to have him basically shadowing Rice the entire game, basically, which would be the smart move to do.
Probably, yeah, most likely. Joshua Williams, 73% on PFF.
A percent.
Oh, great, sorry. I don't know why I said percent.
They're still loading his report. 73% it's at right now.
It's buffering. Give me a minute. No updates. Fantastic. And you got Jalen Watson.
Must use Bright House.
Watson was 66.1 on PFF, which it's a good grade to have if that's your fourth.
Yeah, and I gotta include this because they have Williams and Watson both will go out there at different times, so you gotta kind of keep an eye and see who's out there on the field.
Yeah, I mean they keep each other
company
fresh. Yes,
you get a blanket,
hands as they walk out.
have a picnic.
They go on long walks on beaches. Enjoy movie night. All right, you got Mike Edwards.
The safeties. Now we got to talk
the safeties. I didn't fart. Did you? No. Anyway, Mike Edwards, 56.5 on PFF. And then you got Justin Reed at 58.5 on PFF.
Yeah. Not good at the safety position, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, you have some strong corners. You don't have best.
I mean, both these teams are built over the defensive line. Let's be honest. Both of them are defensive line strongholds.
Yes.
And
it's about stopping the pass rush.
George Karlaftis is one of those guys who doesn't get nearly the credit he should. I mean, you think about the last year's draft, and I mean, when I say that, I mean 22, obviously. We're still technically the 23 season here, at least till this game is over. You talk about Aiden Hutchinson,
3 days.
Is just a freaking beast, obviously. You talk about Kayvon Thibodeau, who's, at least improved as a sacker this year. No one really talks about Karlaftis. Yeah, 10.5 sacks, second year in the league. That's impressive. So, watch him be the big guy to come into this and make a splash there, because someone's gonna.
Someone has to. But going on, Chiefs defense gives up on average 16.8 points per game, which is the second best in NFL, and 94.7 yards per game, which is fourth best in the NFL.
Yeah, it's a really strong defense, guys. Really strong defense. Doesn't get nearly the credit it should. Congratulations, Steve Spagnuolo, former Giants interim head coach, former Giants defensive coordinator, 2-time Super Bowl champion with the New York Football Giants. Gonna throw it up to him there.
Kudos.
Got a lot of rings now.
If you liked him, you should print a ring on it. He's got what? He's run. But the strengths of this defense: sack the QB on 8.58% of the pass attempts. Yikes. 5.4 yards per pass.
Yeah.
Been amazing to see.
Yeah, that's the thing. Both these defenses are set to play the pass, because it's a passing league right now, guys. So when you're sacking the quarterback, best in the league percentage wise, when you're allowing short passes and stopping big passes for plays from happening, you're going to do good, especially when you have a good offense and you're able to force the team to have to throw to try to keep up with you. This is why I will always be a proponent of building around the pass as far as defense goes, not the run. I know it used to be the run back in the day, guys. It's the pass now.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely changed. You need a strong quarterback. That's why running backs don't get paid anymore.
Nope. Disposable. That's what they are now. I hate to say it that way. It's still a person, but that's what the position is now.
till next decade, and then they realized that
things
they
will
have to
change.
pay.
What happens? But
Yeah.
I think this is probably going to be what it is, really, to be honest.
For now.
I think for a while. I think you'll
Yeah.
see changes in what kind of offenses they run overall and stuff like that. But I do think the running back position as a whole is going to stay as something that's not as prevalent as it is like right now. But if you go back, yeah, be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if some teams just start even using ones and eventually just go all pass.
That far, I see small guys like HN line up in the backfield that run up in the I formation, a fifth receiver or something like that.
Well, yeah, I can see that as well. Like I said, I just think the position's going to keep changing. I think it's going to go less run, more pass. That's just life right now. The NFL, that's what it is. It's less hits that way too.
Like I said, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the weakness of this defense. So weak. So brittle.
Help.
Allows 4.5 yards per catch, which is fifth. Sorry, per carry in the NFL, which is fifth in the NFL. Opponents throw. Well, was that for the Chiefs or was that for me?
Both.
I'm not bad at that. Opponents throw interceptions on just 1.9% of the pass attempts, which is 27th in the NFL.
Yeah, so they're kind of the reverse of the way that the Niners were. The Niners were, bad at getting sacks, good at getting interceptions. Now they're really good at getting sacks, really bad at getting interceptions. So they kind of flippity flop and reversed it.
One allows the throw to happen, but stops it from getting completed. The other.
Oh, we're losing again, Rob.
Oh no!
Oh no! Where'd you go?
Oh, no.
Let's get into our final thoughts here in the game. Oh yes. So both teams are, as we said, are very good against the pass, not very good against the run. So don't be shocked if one of the stars in the game ends up being a Pacheco or a McCaffrey at that point, somebody who isn't part of the running game. We just talked about that being less of a thing. Well, there's still a couple of good ones in this league, and there's two of them that are in this game. So keep an eye on one of them to have a really good game potentially. The 49ers have the better offense. The Chiefs, though, have the better defense. So they kind of match up pretty well. I will say this, though. If you look at the offense on the Chiefs versus the defense on the Niners, I could take a pick on which one is better of those two. That's the intriguing thing. It's a very well matched up teams here. I really do like the way they're matched up. Now, obviously, the Chiefs have a lot more Super Bowl experience than the Niners do. But to me, the Niners are the better team on paper. So there's really some things there. I think this is going to be a pretty dang close game here. But I do think overall, this is a game that you can look at and go, does experience win out? Does talent overall win out? And either one I could see happening here. So let's get into those final predictions here, guys. We're going to give you guys our picks on the game here. Oh, yes. That's the last time you hear that music, by the way. So the Niners are 2-point favorites in this game. You got a 47.5 on the over-under. Rob, who do you got?
I've been all over. And I've been thinking about this for the past 2 weeks, thinking about the health of Samuel, thinking about the health of everyone else. And most of these people are healthy, which makes this decision even harder. The one thing I am is I do believe this is going to finish in the under.
You're really torn on this, aren't you? You really are. I can tell.
We're
losing you again.
I'm going to go with the talent in this one. I'm going to go with Niners to win this game, but you also can't the Chiefs. They've been out of how many years that Patrick Mahomes has been there, they've missed once.
Yeah.
They have 3 Super Bowls. You can't count that out because once they get into the Super Bowl, they're hot. They look like the new dynasty, like New England Patriots did in the early 2000s.
To me, they are the new dynasty right now. Again, they got to win this one to be considered one of the best dynasties of all time. But I mean, you can even
start off just like the Patriots.
You could easily say, "Hey, they've been in 3 Super Bowls and won 2, and that's still already the start of a dynasty here." But you go into 3 win 3 and go to 4. Now that's really a dynasty, and that's why I got the Niners to be close in this game, but I can't bet against the Chiefs. I've done it a couple times this postseason already, and I've been wrong. So I'm going to admit my mistake. Say I'm going to stop, doubting Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and that just the greatest coach QB combo that's in the NFL right now. And I'm also looking at the fact that Shanahan and Reid are 2 of the best coaches in the NFL right now, obviously, as a whole. And if you look, Shanahan's never beat an Andy Reid team. He's 0-3. So I'm calling it 0-4 right now, where I think the Chiefs do win. I'm with you on the under, though. I'm 100% with you on the under. And obviously, if I think the Chiefs will win, the spread obviously is going to be with the Chiefs there, since they're the underdog there. But yeah, it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a fun game, guys. I really think you guys will like this year's Superb Owl. Usher is the halftime show, I believe, as well. So if you're like me and over the age of 35, you probably grew up liking him and his music as well. So that should be a fun halftime show there. I haven't seen him do anything in years, so I was kind of shocked he was the guy. Keep in mind, the game will be on 6:30 Eastern Standard Time on CBS. And if you're like me, you don't have any TV,
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus is on it. So if you're a streamer like me, you're good to go. You can still have the streaming option there on Paramount Plus there. So should be a fun game overall, and I'm definitely looking forward to it, guys. Let's get into some quick Giants news. And then some quick NFL news. We got a little bit of news to go over here with you guys, and then we're going to call it a night here after we read the final comments here. So let's go into Giants news.
It's time for the news.
Oh, yeah. Dan Duggan of The Athletic reporting that the Giants can clear up to $14.4 million by restructuring Andrew Thomas's deal. This is why we always say, guys, the cap doesn't matter to a certain degree because you can free up all kinds of stuff. Keep in mind, they can also free up a ton of money with the changing up potentially Dexter Lawrence's contract as well. The one guy's contract I don't want them to touch, that's a big contract, Daniel Jones. Don't move that money down. Take the hit this year and move on because we got to go. We got to go. Jets owner Woody Johnson. This I literally just put this up in the notes within the last hour before we started up this. He talked to reporters at the NFL Honors, which is going on tonight. And he talked about the fact that, the World Cup now, the final World Cup game, the championship game, is going to be at MetLife Stadium. Now, again, the big issue at MetLife Stadium is the fact that it is going to be turf whenever the Giants and the Jets play. And it shouldn't be. So instead, what you got is you got grass going into this game. Whereas they don't care about the football players, apparently. But they're going to go ahead and give it to, they're going to go ahead and give it to the soccer players, which is just ridiculous. So, but yeah, Woody Johnson said him and John Mara discuss installing grass for the games at MetLife at least once a week. And I thought that was interesting because that's basically, by him making these kind of statements, means that they know this is still an issue. They know this is still something they have to do. And I'm hoping they'll get enough slack for it over the next year or so to where next season we're having a discussion about grass coming in. I don't think it'll happen this offseason, but hopefully it'll happen maybe next year. They spent a lot of money on this turf company they're bringing in, so which is better. The injuries weren't nearly as bad, but again, if this is what's best for the players, it's just what should be on the field. They shouldn't be risking players getting hurt.
I mean,
Daniel Jones, does he get hurt?
How much money? How much did they spend on that AstroTurf?
I don't know the exact dollars in that. I don't have that in front of me.
I'm just saying, they spend that compared to the cost of putting grass there every week. I mean, you could actually just grow grass there and have,
it doesn't matter because in the end, it's all easy to do within the money. It's nothing going to be crazy.
That's what I was about to say. So you're paying, it's going to get like 19 point whatever million dollars this year. Who didn't start for you because the towards ACL, which arguably could be to this turf. You had this high prospect unicorn that you paid who didn't play half the year. Hamstring issues could be argued because of the turf. Did you spend millions?
We're losing again.
Like how many other players have you spent millions of dollars for that couldn't play the season that you had to pay because they're injured?
Oh yeah, it's insanity. It really is.
Pay the money, keep the player.
Hopefully that'll change. Former Giants running back Wayne Gallman signed at the UFL. So those of you like the spring football league there, he's going to be part of the St. Louis Battlehawks, which is the one that AJ McCarron played for last year that has a really big fan base. Actually, probably is the most fun fan base of all the spring ball teams there. So keep an eye out for that one there. On to the NFL news. All right. Keep in touch here to the end because we're going to go over all the NFL awards that have been announced tonight as well. I already got my page ready to go there with everything as it's happening. MVP hasn't been announced yet, so I'm going to go through the rest of the news, hoping that we'll have that for you guys before everything's all done here. So as was alluded to in the comments section already, Cowboys are expected to hire Mike Zimmer to be their defensive coordinator, which is interesting because he was that already before, and he hasn't been in the league now for quite some time. So I'm kind of shocked that, Mike Zimmer is coming back. Of all the guys they could have possibly gotten, Mike Zimmer. That just seems like an odd mix there. You would think that that's a job in demand because of the fact that it's the Cowboys, it's a popular franchise, it's got a really good defense. But you got to wonder, maybe the fact that, Mike McCarthy's kind of considered a lame duck coach that might not make it after this year. Maybe that's part of the issue.
Yeah, I was saying that before when Dan Quinn went over to Atlanta that I think he jumped ship before he had to swim out of the ship, if you will. He took the lifeboat out, knowing there's plenty out there.
Yeah.
Before he had to swim or become Jack in the Titanic.
Yeah, I mean, and Zimmer's a longtime coach, former head coach. He was a DC with the Cowboys, 15 years ago or so. So I mean, got a lot of pull potentially in the organization still because he was with them forever. And it's kind of our senior note there. It's Zimmer, not Zimmerman. It is Zimmer. But yeah, like I said, I not the guy who I thought they'd get at all. Not really the guy I thought they'd get. So we'll have to see what happens there. Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce said they will be getting a quarterback this offseason, and Aiden O'Connell will have a chance to compete for the job with whoever that QB tends to be. But we'll see who that is. It's kind of like, it's a competition, but if this guy's even halfway decent, not much of a competition.
Yeah.
Rumor is Joey Bosa may also be available via trade this offseason. That would be an interesting one. The Giants definitely, we should be keeping an eye on that because we really, really need another pass rusher there. Obviously, the one issue that you already have with Joey Bosa is the fact that he's never fully healthy for a season here, but he was only in 9 games this year, had 6.5 sacks. But between the last 2 seasons now, he's had 14 games and he's had 9 sacks. So good pass rusher, but he's just never on the field. And that's an issue when you're talking about paying him the kind of money that he's going to be commanding. I mean, this is a guy who's already signed, I believe, a long-term extension with them, if I remember correctly. So it's not like you can just tell him to take less money. It's already been signed. Why would he try to get out of there? You know, it was a 5-year, $135 million offer. It looks like he signed. So he is going to be $36 million against the cap next year for the Chargers. That's pretty high. If they do that though, and trade him, they will save $14 million against the cap. So maybe that's their purpose, is trying to get that $36 million gone and do that. His base salary the next 2 seasons, $15 million next year, $17 million the year after that. So something to keep an eye on there, because that's a really, really low number that you'd be getting him for if you trade for him. Because again, the team that signed the contract pays the bonus. It's kind of like why Christian McCaffrey is getting paid jack and shit by the Niners right now. So, off to the land of Mississippi. MISSISSIPPI. Mississippi State Auditor filed paperwork stating that former Packers quarterback Brett Favre owes the state nearly $730,000 in interest connected to the $1 million in welfare money that he says were improperly spent on personal projects. Yeah, that situation we thought was gone. Nope, it's back with a vengeance, because they're just doubling how much he supposedly owes the state there. That should be interesting. I want to see how that works out. Woody Johnson, during his talk, we talked about the turf issue there. He was talking about at the MetLife there. Yeah, he said some other things to the press as well. And this one, I think, is the worst statement I've ever seen an owner say about a team in my life. Probably worse somewhere. I have to think about that. I can't think of a worse one off the top of my head, though. He said, we need a backup quarterback. We didn't have one last year. That's a slap in the goddamn face of Zach Wilson. I'm sorry, like him or not, you don't say that. That is as unprofessional as possible to say. That's a schmuck move.
That's fucking dirty.
Yeah, like, he's gone. You're already trading him this offseason. You're already moving on. There is no need at all to be that kind of guy. That's a jerk move. So, yeah, it makes me not like the Jets even more. Even though I really don't hate the Jets.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to hate them when they don't ever win.
It's like one of those teams, so like,
yeah, kind of like the Commanders. Yeah.
Only I got more of a for the Jets.
Yeah. In semi-Giants news, ex-Giants receiver, and I guess still current Raven, at least for the time being, OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., is rumored to be dating Kim Kardashian. And
he's got to get a payday for somewhere.
And it said the couple is considering going public soon. So we're part celebrity news now too as well. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Yes, here we are talking about it. Yeah. And the weird thing is, everything.
And their video will be uploaded, I think, right August. This way, OBJ could get signed again.
Now, from everything I'm actually seeing, this crazy thing is OBJ is the one who wants to keep it secret, if it's true. Like, Kim Kardashian's used to that kind of spotlight. She don't care. OBJ is the one who doesn't want the spotlight, which is weird. That's so anti-OBJ, which makes me think that that's not true. So, yeah. Unless he's trying to get himself a bigger celebrity status name for whenever he retires, he's got to know he doesn't have much more to play. And I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say it that way, but like, he signed another big contract, didn't do anything with it. You know, he's got a big mouth on him. He causes issues. We know this. Those receivers don't play into the mid-30s.
Yeah, he's probably going to get a reality TV show of this.
But he's probably got 1 or 2 years left to play.
Yeah. And then
he could be, honestly, it would not shock me at all if he has trouble finding a team next year.
Yeah, it's already happened to him.
But I'm saying next year, he proved he can stay healthy for the year. He basically was, but he was, non-existent basically.
He was,
and there was
by the rookie.
Yeah, and there's one thing they were talking about recently within Raven Country here, that there was an issue where one of the media people pointed out how bad his numbers were, and he went off on them. Like on Twitter, went off on them, and that was just today too. Like he's, like I said, the end is near for him, that's for sure. So, all right, let's see what we got here as far as the NFL honors. Let's see if they got that kind of stuff up here fully, so we can give you guys that list here before we go. Let's see here. All right, Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey of the Niners. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett of the Browns. Offensive Rookie of the Year, C.J. Stroud of the Texans. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Will Anderson Jr. of the Texans. Coach of the Year is Kevin Stefanski of the Browns. So we'll have to wait, I guess, for some of the other awards there. But that's who we got so far there. I'm just checking real quick AP to see if they happen to update us. Make sure we don't have any more for you guys before we get going here. So we also got the NFL class here. Looks like Dwight Freeney and Patrick Willis. Let's see here. Andre Johnson and Devin Hester are going to be in the Hall of Fame now, along with linebacker Randy Gradishar and defensive tackle Steve McMichael from the senior category there. So yeah, we got some more on there at that point there, but yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and give you guys a heads up on who gets the the MVP nod there. I'm kind of shocked they didn't give that one yet, but yeah, 10:30. Who's staying up late to watch the award show for the NFL?
Right?
I mean, seriously. Yeah.
That's my bet set.
All righty, guys. Let's see. We got a couple more comments here. Let's see if it comes up by the time we're done with that there for you guys. Let's see. I got to go back here. Let's see. There we go. Connor says, "Can we get that owl in a Giants jersey? Be badass." Yeah, damn straight it would with that American owl, superb owl. Connor says, "What kind of belt do you have? Canvas, J.C. Penney, $3.98 in Okinawa. Belt mean no need rope to hold your pants up." What? I feel like there's a movie quote he's doing. I don't know what from. Rafael Capitan here is enjoying probably his big moment as a Raiders fan here, with the Raiders, of course, hosting the Super Bowl this weekend. He says, "Hello, everybody. What's up, man?"
What's up, Raph?
Connor says, "Still wonder if Spags would be a good head coach for us." Nope, he would not. He's tried that before. Connor says, "That owl is superb." Of course it's superb, goddammit. It sounds like it says delete when that is the news thing. Connor says, "Poor Daniel, we ruined him." I think we ruined him from hitting his highest ceiling. I just don't think his ceiling was that high to begin with. He says, "How about Daniel to the Commanders there?" Obviously, he's not saying Commanders, but Commanders. Yeah, I don't think they're taking him. Why would they want him? Why would they want an overpriced quarterback when they had the second overall pick in the draft? Makes no sense. Connor says, "Cool, watch Gallman. Football fart. I think it's Zimmerman." Nope, it was Zimmer. Says, "I'll never let go, Jack." Oh God, now we're doing the Titanic here. He says, "We need young guys. Bosa always hurt." Yeah, I mean, he's always hurt, but when he's healthy, he's really good. Again, I'm not suggesting him as option number one, and it also depends, obviously, what the Chargers want to get for him as well. But if you're telling me I strike out on guys like Josh Allen in free agency, and I can get Nick Bosa, like let's say a third round pick, yeah, done. I might even give up the second round pick for him. Between him and Ojulari, one of them's going to be healthy each game.
that's sad.
Connor says bad, Woody bad. Yeah, that's a bad thing he said. Maybe we'll get Zach in the cheap. I don't want Zach Wilson. We're good there. He said, why would you want to be with those skank Kardashians? Oh yeah, money. It's money and also not caring about what you're looking at as being plastic and fake.
Pretty much.
But you gotta wonder though, because obviously we all have our opinions of these Kardashian girls based on what they do and say in public and all. I guarantee you behind closed doors, they're completely different people. I'm not saying they're good people. I'm not saying they're people I would want to spend time with. But anybody who thinks they actually know these people are, especially Kim Kardashian, like people act like
she's a lawyer.
But I'm saying people act like she's stupid. But yeah, exactly. She's a lawyer. She's business
actually
mogul
very smart.
Business mogul who created an empire out of nothing. Like, what does she do? Like, she took what Paris Hilton was doing and took it to the 10th degree.
100%.
So again, I'm not saying
Paris
what
probably
kind of person
wasn't the smartest out there.
Paris was, because again, she got millions of dollars for just being a fake version of herself.
I don't know how fake that was.
I think it was very fake. If you listen to her now, how she talks, she's not stupid either.
Let's say she's stupid. I was talking about when it was it Paris and Nikki or whatever your friend was?
Oh yeah.
When they go around, like, you actually think they acted stupid, yes, but you actually think they did physical labor where they did those TV shows? That wasn't
I didn't watch those TV shows. I'm not sure what kind of physical labor they were doing.
I just remember seeing one time when they had to go milk a cow, and she's like, "What do I
guarantee
do?"
she did. I guarantee she did, and she probably made it look much more difficult than it actually is for ratings.
Oh, 100%.
So, let's see. Connor says it's crazy. Ravens wait, drinking, pass to him. He gets catches at the end of the game. Why didn't they try to involve him earlier? Because he's not that good. He says Mongo McMichael. He was in NWO. No Four Horsemen. I don't watch. I never really watched WCW at all, so I don't know. Connor says movie quote is the original and Oni Karate Kid Ralph Macchio. Okay. He says I don't like Kim Kardashian. I asked for a BJ and she said she was too busy. Shake my head. I really doubt you had that conversation with Kim Kardashian. Connor. Come on. Wow. All righty, guys.
Put her a DM.
We will be back for you guys next for our Super Bowl post-game show. Again, which day we're going to do that, we have to discuss that still, if we do it Sunday or Monday. To be honest, that might be a game time decision for us even, depending on what kind of alcohol-induced state we're in after the Super Bowl as well. I don't mind us having a little bit of drinks and coming on here, but I don't want to be drunk because then we can't give you a good show. I'd rather wait till we're then.
Slapping pickle
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah, exactly. And let's be honest here. We're going to have some drinks. So we'll see about that. So keep an eye out, because the best way to find out always, of course, when we're going to go live again is by following us, subscribing.
Ooh.
Oh, yes, subscribing. So wherever platform you're on, because of course we're always on live, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, Instagram, and of course Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn. Hit that subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube.
Ding.
You're gonna find out exactly. I'm telling you, when we go live, my phone goes off on every single platform to let me know, because I've done that and I've set that on my phones. I do it so I can check to make sure all the links are working and everything's working. But for you guys, whatever platform you want to use, it's gonna tell you when we're going live. And of course, we're always available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms as well. So we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google Podcasts, all the big ones. We are there. So hit the like, hit the subscribe on those as well. Automatic downloads always favorited as well. And again, we'll see you guys either Sunday night or Monday night. We'll figure that as things go. But we appreciate you guys for being here with us there as we discuss the superb Owl 58 here coming up there. As always, if we are not on Sunday night, guys, enjoy the game. Be responsible. If you're going to go somewhere and you're going to have a ton of drinks like we are.
Uber.
You're potentially saving a life. Plus, on top of that, you're helping somebody else get a job. So, it's a double duo. It's your double duo good deed for the day.
And try, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Appreciate you guys as always for listening in. We know you got plenty of options where to get all your NFL and Giants news from, and you chose these goofballs, and we do question your judgment on that, but we do appreciate it anyway. So we'll see you guys, of course, on the next episode. And even though we're not in the game, we're gonna still do it as always. As always, Giants fans,
go G-Man!
Go G-Man!
G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.